Hi, I am Peter Heine Nielsen, and I'm joined by Grandmasters Jan Gustafsson and Laurent Fressinet for the 20th episode of the Chicken Chess Club podcast. Not too much has happened since last week, right? I'm here in St. Louis, and I hope that you also had a good week. So tell me a bit about that.
So we are Tuesday morning. So as I predicted, a French guy won the Rapid and Blitz with 4 rounds to spare. I didn't expect that result, but that was a brilliant result from Alireza. And of course, as we are Tuesday morning, yesterday something really unexpected happened, and Magnus Carlsen forfeited the game and withdrawn from the classical chess tournament in Saint Louis. Of course, we will only talk about that. Jan, how is life?
Life is fine. Like, I was doing commentary on this Sinquefield Cup, and round 3 was very exciting. Magnus lost this game to Niemann with white. Wesley won a very nice game against Caruana. Alireza won this very strange game against Levon. Dominguez missed a win in one move against Nepomniachtchi. So to do commentary, that was a very, very exciting round, although, of course, not a great outcome for Magnus. And then I woke up the next, let's call it morning, and the news start pouring in. First, people start sending me that Hans Niemann interview, like not people connected to Magnus or the tournament, but that interview apparently got a lot of mileage, and people thought it was strange. Then I heard, I think like an hour or two before we started the broadcast, that they would introduce a delay, which means you get the moves 15 minutes later than they're played on the board, which was used a bit in the past as an anti-cheating measure, but I haven't heard much of it in the last 5, 6, 7 years. I don't think any super tournaments have used that. And then, of course, the bombshell right before the round started, or I think that's when we heard it, that Magnus has withdrawn from the tournament. So it was a strange day. Of course, we covered the round 4 games. I'm sure there will be a lot to talk about. Also the Niemann Alireza game. But it was just a weird feeling. A lot of speculating. You don't know, and I still don't know right now, what one should talk about, what one shouldn't. I don't have a set opinion on what has happened there. It's just very confusing.
Yes, that's a very, very good summary. I guess Peter, I'm not sure, he's there, so he has much more info, which he didn't want to show in private with us, but maybe to share. So to share.
But he doesn't trust us, and maybe especially you for good reason. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, but so what was your first of all? What was your impression after the game of Magnus? Maybe you can answer that after he lost to. First of all, he played a very good game in the first round against Nepo in round 1. That was very impressive. Very poor game from Nepo, I would say, but very, very good punishment by Magnus. Basically, what happened in the match. It was just a summary of the match, this first round game.
Yeah, tournament came off to a great start. There's no doubt about that. Beating the winner of the candidates tournament, who hadn't lost a game in the candidates, Magnus made it look kind of effortless, right? He played some straight sideline that, of course, Nepom had prepared it for the match, but Magnus was basically playing some random move, bishop e2, I think it was, and he just seemed to outplay him effortlessly.
Yeah.
And that was obviously a great success. You can hope to outplay Nepom, but A, you need to get a position where it's possible. B, you actually have to succeed in it. And it looked like, Magnus once again had proven that he's a class of his own, even for the one who is supposed to be the number 2, winning 2 candidates in a row. It was clear that it was a different of class. Then he was black against Aronian, which was perhaps not the most exciting game ever, unless you really like Ulf Andersen, Bogo Indian, and sort of exchanging everything that moves. But basically,
I'm sure Jan. Yeah,
I was a fan. Nice
clean
game.
What's not to like? Exactly, the perfect. I think also, there is some functions on some websites that gives which level of perfectness you played, and while maybe Magnus got to 97% in the first game, this one got to 99, right? So at least there is someone there who appreciates the beauty. But then, of course, came game 3, which was below par on basically all kind of parameters. I mean, well, Magnus is worse out of the opening with white. That's basically, that's unforgivable in many ways of those who try to help him with that phase. And, he got outplayed. He defended quite well at times, but missed a couple of chances, and was a pretty bad sporty performance in that sense. So
yeah, I fully agree. That was.
It's never first time you lose. I cannot recall the last time I was with Magnus when he lost a classical game. I understand he lost to Kayakin in Stavanger probably a year ago. But when I was with him in the tournament, I actually don't recall which was the last time.
But you were there in Stavanger, no?
No, I wasn't.
Okay.
It's not connected with him loosely, but I was just... my kids were starting in school and kindergarten, and we are a pretty social team, so I was allowed to give priority to that. You get spoiled when you work for Magnus. This doesn't happen early. It doesn't happen often. So, that's always unpleasant, of course. But that was kind of it. And then, we seem to suddenly go home, and I've been, rebooking my tickets and stuff like that.
But
just got used to. I've gotten used to the jet lag, so I'm up here, 7:00.
Yeah, but you just passed one. One day you just skipped, of your life. One day you didn't tell us at all what. So since he lost, since then what happened before you booked your next your flight?
Yeah, well, I think Magnus was considering going home, and I think also, I didn't prepare for the game because I expected him not to play. I had I looked a bit for the next round just in case, but again, also, remember on this podcast we spoke a lot about will he play the match or not, but that he made comments on. This one he has not made comments on, and I'm really not his spokesperson. So I think he should be allowed to speak for himself, and when he chooses not to speak, I shouldn't make guesses, basically.
So we'll make guesses.
Yeah, we have you for that.
So it's very clear that very quickly it came down. He tweeted, so it was this tweet with Mourinho. Saying, thanking the chess club in Saint Louis that he was always very happy to play there, and that he hopes to come back, and then that he was withdrawing from the tournament. And with this video of...
Maybe we should also actually explain that withdrawing from a tournament is exceptionally rare, right?
It's his first time.
If you have a flu, you keep playing.
Yeah, of course. If you have COVID these days.
I know about you guys. I never withdrew from a tournament ever. I don't think Magnus ever has. And we also never hear... I like how I first mentioned that. I also never did. Very important. And we rarely ever hear from it. Like some guys in open tournaments, and some people have a reputation, but in super tournaments, I think the last time it happened was when Ding Liren broke his hip or something in Norway chess. No?
Yeah, he was actually, he was away for 8 months for medical reasons after. Well, Dubov kind of withdrew from White, or at least he skipped some game, but that's COVID protocol.
Yeah, but
else...
Yeah, no, but
elsewhere, going back to Fischer or people with immediate deaths in their family.
Exactly. Withdrawing before the tournament is kind of. You can see it, and you saw Rapport. I think he had some problems, but it's possible to withdraw before the tournament, even a few days before. That happens, not regularly, but it happens. But during a tournament, after you played few games, it's very rare. I did it once. I had some tooth issue. Really big, and I really couldn't stand it playing more. But that was 20 years ago. So, that's very, very rare.
Strike. You went on strike.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's fair. So please, you're good at summarizing.
So what we're saying is we shouldn't treat it lightly if the world champion decides to withdraw from a tournament after 3 games. And although Peter can't remember, he has lost games in the past. No, normally it hasn't.
Yeah. I mean,
made him get out of the
shouldn't be
tournament.
enough. So, of course. So I mean, I've also had a tournament where Larsen withdrew, but he was he was unconscious and had to be operated. I mean, so it's obviously extremely That was my point. Withdrawing from a tournament is extreme. Also, it messes up the tournament, right? For instance, he has played some games already who will be annulled, but that means a 1-point difference between one player compared to him playing, for instance. And, also on a lesser scale, but you might mess up the colors. And, people might get 5 whites or blacks, for instance. So, it's something that you don't do unless you do it.
No, it messes up the tournament completely. Also, he's Magnus Carlsen, so a tournament without Magnus Carlsen, of course, generates a lot less interest. Although I'm sure there will be plenty of talk about this tournament in the days to come. But even looking at the table now, what is it? Wesley is first with 2.5 out of 4. Then Nepomniachtchi is second with 2 out of 3.
Have
because
Wesley has 2 out of 3, and Nepo has 1.5 out of 2.
I think I'm right. You're wrong.
You're actually wrong, Laurent.
It's 3. They played 4 games. Sorry.
They played 4 rounds.
Yeah, sorry. So Wesley is out of 4 and Nepo is out of 3. Okay, it's what you said. Sorry.
No, but it messes up the table, and of course, other things being equal, it's of course a tremendous gift for Nepomniachtchi if one loss gets taken away, and not great news for Niemann if one win gets taken away.
But
so it's a strong measure.
So let's go to the point. It's clear that many people. He tweeted this stuff with Mourinho, which Mourinho is saying if I speak, I'm in big trouble, and then people started to speculate.
We should say this video is Mourinho talking about bad referees in the football.
Okay. Yeah.
But in general, in chess, if you say, okay, if I speak, I'm in big trouble, or I can't speak about this openly, it doesn't leave that many topics
and
on
especially
the table,
that they took this new anti-cheating measures the same day. So that was this delay, which you mentioned, which was 15 minutes delay. So the broadcast started late. Actually, I was maybe the last one. I was actually not. I seated in front of my computer at 8, and I saw these lazy guys. They are just late, and I didn't know what was going on. Actually, because nobody told me. This is amazing, actually. But okay.
Sorry for wasting your time. Yeah, so they introduced this delay, and also from what I've seen, more checks in the playing hall, like more metal detectors and the kind of things that are being used. So it's hard not to make that connection, even though we or I at least haven't heard it from Magnus other than the tweet, which of course is cryptic.
No, that's true. And I was watching this. Which is arguably the main source of information these days, unfortunately, this Naka stream, where Naka was kind of openly saying that Magnus accused, by this tweet and withdrawal, he was clearly accusing Niemann of cheating in their game. And it seems that Naka was backing this up quite clearly, in my opinion. Many strange things happened during the day. Like, for instance, Ramirez, when Niemann came and gave his post-game interview, it was like a teacher, with a with a school kid, and he turned off the engine, which is not normal because generally they analyze with the engine on, and he was asking questions. So what did you see after that? What did you see after that? And they were also asking different players, even to Aonian, who said that most of his colleagues are paranoid, which was very strong from Levon, with generally a very friendly guy to everyone, but that time it was kind of rough.
Levon
He
Aronian?
said that his colleagues are paranoid.
Yeah, but he does have he does.
He
speak
speaks
his
in
mind,
mind privately, but publicly, I think he has this image.
Ah, yeah, that's true.
I mean, privately, of course, he's very
that's
rough. I mean, like, he made so many jokes after I lost some games. I can't tell. I mean, all of them.
No, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, I guess you're right. In public,
Yeah.
it's much more.
Yeah.
soft.
So all of that, I didn't like. I mean, to be fair, I didn't like the story of Nakamura. He annoyed me one more time because he was basically saying that he was watching this Niemann analyzing the game, and he was saying that it was not a 2700 analysis post-mortem, which
Okay.
maybe.
No, I'm just wondering if we're getting ahead of
lot of
our...
different-
Yeah, okay.
Ourselves.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm just speaking my mind,
So-
so I mean, I have a lot. I can talk about it for 2 hours already. So.
Yeah, no, there's a lot to unravel. I'm just wondering how to proceed. So, of course, after Magnus withdraws, I mean, the implication and the conclusion most people made is that he thinks there was foul play, most likely, in his game against Niemann. And then, of course, as Laurent mentioned, Hikaru, but most of the internet got on the case. What I actually, before I heard about this withdrawal, I had been told or sent by people not connected was that this interview with Hans after the game against Magnus, that was very strange how he knew the opening, which was a sideline in such great detail, and then how he explained it. So I was curious. Of course, you guys have more inside knowledge than me there. But how likely, unlikely you think it is. So they play the Nimzo Indian, which is Hans' main opening. And Magnus plays 4G3, which I think he hasn't played,
no.
at least. Not in a serious game. And this might be a little chess nerdy, but people said, no, but he's played 4 knight f3, c5, g3. But that has nothing to do with it. Because after 4 knight f3, nowadays people don't play c5 because of g3, most people at least. But you get castles or d5 or b6. And if you go for g3, almost no one will play c5 transposing to knight f3. Niemann didn't either. People will go castles, bishop g2, d5, which was the line in the game. And then a3 is a bit of a rare move, bishop c3, bc, dc, knight f3, c5. But it is the first computer line, and if you're planning to play the Nimzo, he knew the cd4 move very precise, and then even later he showed it in the video. I don't know what you think. To me, it's not impossible. It's very much a coincidence that you would check that before the game. But as Levon said, people are paranoid. You expect all kinds of things against your repertoire. And sometimes you stumble onto something.
Because I was, I mean, exactly the same than you. I was so confused because this is just not possible to check that in the morning, to think that he will play Nimzo with 4G3 because he never played it. I mean, the line is supposed to be completely harmless and not. I don't want to give away too much, but probably it is. And then he's just giving like he says he's giving this H6, and then after the Rook FD1. I mean, for people who can check with the computer, is the second line of the computer, so he could have seen it.
Rook FD1 is a mistake, still, so either Magnus was bluffing or a second.
I mean, like, it's a mistake, but it's the second line of the computer, so you may have seen it. I mean, like,
sure.
It's...
Also, if you look at it, you just check the move more or less naturally.
And then the line he gives with this bishop f6, queen b5 in the interview, it's just the very, very first line of the computer all the way, with this a6, queen e7, bishop g4, whatever. And I thought it was just impossible. I mean, how can you check that? And then I thought, like, this morning, actually, that probably, he was expecting Catalan. So this is d4, knight f6, c4, e6, g3, for people who have about d5, bishop g2, bishop b4. And then he had, like, bishop d2, knight d2 prepared, and he thought, fuck, I forgot to check knight c3 recently. Okay, I'm not saying this is what happened, but this is a possible explanation.
No, but
I mean,
this makes a
I
lot
could
of
see
sense,
myself
'cause
doing
you
that.
could expect the Catalan from Magnus, and you think, okay, I check bishop d2, knight d2.
Yeah.
What was knight c3 again?
He
I could
will
also
try.
very much see myself doing, and it's a much better explanation
Yeah.
than he knew knight c3 in the Nimzo, bishop b4, knight f3 had been played. 'Cause
And
that
the
doesn't lead
point,
to
and the
that
point,
position
and
at all.
when Ramirez is asking him like, but how can you guess this Nimzo G3? Then he just understands that he gave away that he wanted bishop before Catalan, and then he starts to say some bullshit. Remember some game from Sharjah, which is actually correct.
No, there he was clearly talking
About this,
talking nonsense. Yeah, he said he played it against Wesley. First of all, he got the tournament
Yeah,
wrong, but that's
but
not so important.
Yeah.
But more importantly, knight c3,
He's
bishop
a
b4, knight
competitor,
f3.
Yeah,
It's really
but
different,
he
right?
thought, okay, I shouldn't give away that I wanted bishop before Catalan, so I will say something. And I mean, I could imagine me doing that. Actually, things, being like overjoyed by a victory. You start talking about your life, and then you realize, maybe that's stupid. So I should like take back that, take that.
Also, people are very secretive about giving opening information. Like, listen to anybody Peter has ever anything Peter has ever said.
Me, I think.
He wants to say something, but
Yeah, no, I thought
what's up,
this
Peter?
chess part conversation I can join in with.
Sure.
I agree with most of you. I would say probably more Jan than Fress, but it's a good point that this G3 Nimso, you don't get to these lines via 4 knight f3 because this cut this. I mean, so this sort of reference to the game with So from 19 instead of 18, but that doesn't matter. Is weak in my opinion. That doesn't lead you to check this thing.
Yeah.
No, that makes no sense. But I thought Laurent's theory was right that he didn't want to reveal. He prepared this via the Catalan move order, and
Bishop
that's why he
b4
made
check
stuff up.
Catalan, as far as I remember, is his main choice. It's true that this position can, even via knight f3, instead of g3, you can get it via some kind of transposition. Magnus plays the move queen takes d4, which is very rare, but it's the first line of the engine. I mean, if you have actually prepared bishop e6, you have gone rather deep in this area. But I agree that it's not impossible. You can debate if it's likely, but that's a different story.
It's not. Yeah.
No, but nothing is likely.
yeah.
But I know from myself, you checked like 10 random things panicking before the game, and none of them are very likely to happen. But then you could stumble on one.
But
Strikes me as very
predicting
possible.
Magnus playing g3 Nimso is, I mean,
He didn't.
Well, that would be difficult for me.
He didn't.
But that's our point.
He predicted
didn't
Catalan.
check
Yeah.
Catalan.
And
I agree. Just some was saying that he hasn't done. Catalan, I can.
No.
It is. It's not impossible. That much I
before the
agree.
tournament, knight d2, bishop d2 was prepped. I mean, okay, you go to a super tournament, and then you realize, fuck, knight c3 I didn't update, and I saw that game in Sharjah. There's some game in Sharjah between two 650 players. I mean, I don't know. I think that could be a panic, and just then it's pure luck. So that could be an explanation. I'm not saying it's what happened, but that's the only possible, maybe not only, the only one I could think of for him to
For
prepare
instance,
No, but it makes perfect sense because what he said does make a lot of sense, which also I think
And
makes
I
people
think, and then-
suspicious that I played G3 5 years ago myself, and then the Wesley game, like he made up a bunch of.
But it's normal to lie then.
But I
Then
think
it's normal to
possible.
lie, and I think it's very acceptable to lie in a press conference, not to give away what you prepared. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. But he was, if our read is correct, that was trying to protect his prep, what he wanted against the Catalan. I hadn't thought of that, but I do agree it's a very likely explanation.
I don't know. It could be. I just wanted to make these points about that. About the move bishop e6. For me, it's not a trivial move. I definitely had to turn on the computer to understand. Bishop e6, then there's queen b5, but queen a5 is incredibly strong, right? So, I mean, you go queen a5, then you can take on b7, and then you go rook f to c8. And if bishop takes f6, you go rook a to b8, and the queen is trapped. It's not trivial for me to calculate, but of course for someone who's much stronger tactics.
if you saw the
No, my theory is that if you're checking this line, even if it's only 5 minutes, the computer shows h6, and you either see rook ft1 as a second move, or you enter it because it's the most natural move, and that shows bishop e6, and You got it from there, yeah? I agree it's a tough move to find, or I'm not sure you play H6.
Yeah, and actually the first line, maybe he didn't know that Queen A5. I mean, like, if Magnus would have played Queen B5, I mean, I'm not sure, because the computer is not showing, after Bishop E6, he's not showing Queen B5. He's showing who takes D8. So, but he knows it's good. So, I mean, it's a huge edge to find to find the line. Yeah. I mean, like, considering that my theory is right, because if you say that is okay, let's call it how it is. Let's call it like this. I mean, if you say he's cheating, then how does he know this Queen B5, like Bishop F6, Queen F6, Queen B5, Knight D2? I mean, it's all the first line, and it's
he clearly did check it and probably didn't have time. After the game, that seemed genuine. Like, he made up some nonsense as to why he had checked it, but he clearly had checked it. No, he showed the first line instead of Rook FD1, Bishop F6. And also, I think Nakamura was giving him a hard time for saying Queen H4 was a move, which wasn't a move there because of HG5. But that can happen, no? Maybe he mixed up, like, Bishop E6, Queen H4, H6 was a move. That could. To me, it could very much happen, like... You have Queen H4.
No, but let's face it. I did some of this press conference after the game, even when I was 2700. I mean, I was kind of saying nonsense. I was tired. I didn't want to. I couldn't calculate. I mean, I was half remembering, because you go to this press conference like 2 minutes after the game. I mean, let's say if I would ever beat Magnus, which is not going to happen, but I would be in a state of shock and saying some complete nonsense. I'm completely sure. I mean, it's normal not to give.
No, listeners of this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, no, but I mean, it's normal to say some. I mean, right after the game, you are in like. I mean, there's so much tension, especially when you play these guys. That's okay to be like smiling and giving lines and being nice. I mean, it's kind of tough. And actually, we should say that it's his style. I mean, Niemann is clearly overconfident, cocky. I mean, you may not like the guy. That I would understand, but well, that doesn't make him. I mean. As far there's no evidence so far, at least. I mean, if there would be some evidence, some clear evidence, he would have been out of the tournament. So it's how it is. And I didn't. Yeah, what I wanted to point out that Nakamura making this story that he's not 2700 level player. I mean, it's kind of. I think it's completely ridiculous. But I mean, it clearly is.
That could be, but I agree that the analysis was sort of, he didn't really hit the key of the positions. Yeah. It actually reminded me a bit that I remember we played this match in Corsica, right?
Yeah.
And, you completely crossed me 2-0, but I remember speaking with you about the games afterwards. And, well, you have missed all the critical lines. You said you were just killing me. Your position was better and such. And, when we...
You know, how is it called? This is called the opponent factor.
Yes, exactly. It was the opponent factor. But
I was making some random moves.
Yeah, you were making some random moves, but you were not really getting the key of the position.
No, I didn't try to get the key of the position. No, I mean, I was busy. We had some drinks before the games, if you remember.
You were busy winning, and you did.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. Yeah. You actually, like you literally always did when you played.
Yeah.
I cannot deny that fact. But, it didn't give the impression of someone who understood the keys.
I think he's a much quicker player than the guys he's playing now. That's for sure. But if you look at his games, the first game against, and I think he's a very hard-working guy. And if you look at his games, against Aronian, he was, Levon said that he confused on move 6. The opening, it was my game against Jordan in Olympiad actually, and he did confuse on move 6. So Niemann was much better very quickly after the opening. Then against Mamediarov, it was just clearly, he was very well prepared again, but when Mamediarov played this wrong move B6, he just couldn't punish it, and it was very random, but it was typical Mamediarov. He overpressed and lost. And
no, Mamediarov missed this D6 instead of A5 at a key moment when Black is better. He miscalculated something. But I agree that, of course, the games are at a great level. but they don't scream computer games at all. Like there is quite a bunch of mutual mistakes also in that Magnus game more than once. Like black is winning and then computer-wise it's a draw again. Like I agree, the level is high and obviously it's not very likely for Niemann to, well, guess that opening and beat Magnus with the black pieces. But that's why, it happens once every 100 games. From that game itself, once again, this is just talking about what we know. I don't have any inside info on what's going on.
No, but
there.
I mean,
I wouldn't have guessed that it was computer cheating.
I mean, I would say the only thing which makes me doubt is that I don't think Magnus is paranoid at all. He never did that in his whole career. So he must have some very, very, very serious reasons for doing that. So I trust him on that, but we are not on site, unlike some people.
Yeah, I wish we had someone closer.
I don't know who is in San Luis right now.
Some light, because of course I agree. Like Magnus, even in defeat, like of course he'll be upset, but he's not paranoid. No. He doesn't buy in, because even we probably told him some nonsense or a bunch about cheating accusations and so on. Like not now, but in the past, and usually he has a very clear.
Also, before,
so I also trust his judgment just from the info out there. Like
because I saw some interview from the players actually, and Nepo was kind of. I mean, he was the first one to say like it was an incredible. I mean, like the game was. I don't know which word he exactly used, but he made clear.
Yeah, he said it was a very, very good game, and he had this Nepomniachtchi face, like when he says. Peter Heine's tweets are very, very interesting to read. Like,
this face, like, okay, this is just, I mean, like, people who are not fully 100% convinced that Hans cheated are just incredibly naive. Yeah, he had this exact face, exactly what's the same face that Nakamura had, actually. But I mean, to be fair, I don't trust one bit these two guys. So, but I do trust, of course, Magnus, because I mean we know him well. We know that. I mean, like he never even talked about such. Or I mean, I cannot recall that he was talking about cheating in chess or something like that. So it's not a topic for him, and for some people. And top players, and I can understand Arnian remark about paranoia. I think actually he's right in the elite.
No, we know. Like, I mean, it's not something that gets talked about publicly, but and we should maybe mention just in general, like we are giving our read on the situation. But of course, there's a reason why these cheating allegations aren't usually discussed publicly, because first of all, a wrong accusation is just as terrible or almost as terrible as cheating with a computer, which is the worst thing. Of course, you can do in chess because especially nowadays, but there's always something sticking, and then it's usually, once again, I don't know what people know or what's going on in St. Louis there, but usually it's just, guesswork. So It's a very gray area, because of course anybody who cheats like completely destroys the game of chess, but wrongly accusing someone is also...
And before it was only...
doing a lot of damage to that guy.
It was mainly, very, very and I think, like I heard, from what I heard, the rumors were mainly online stuff, where of course, it's easier to arrange the cheating because you are sitting alone at your place.
At least in recent years, of course, the fella rumors we had.
Yeah, that I don't know. Yeah, but no, it's very, and I can tell you that it's very bad to be accused, because I remember when this fella story, I will make Peter happy here. This fella story happened, this 2010 cheating scandal in Olympiad. So I was his teammate, and I was basically playing the next board to him. And many people came to me and say, "Oh, come on, you didn't see anything. I mean, come on, we don't don't buy it. I mean, like it was, and even if I was not directly suspected, was clearly unpleasant. And then at some point I was just saying like, okay, fuck off. I mean, like, okay, I didn't say anything. I was playing my game. The guy wins, so I make my draw, so it's all good. I mean, like, yeah. I didn't even think about it at that time. It was really not really a topic actually. 2010.
Well, it should.
Yeah, no. So
should
that's
maybe be mentioned also that. You mentioned Nakamura and Nepomniachtchi, but there is also people like, for instance, Ogor, who's going very strong in the other direction.
Yeah. No, that will be a split. I mean, it's clear that I don't know what it will be 50-50. I think it will be more in the way that Hans cheated because Magnus. I mean, it's Magnus. Yeah,
people
of course.
trust Magnus,
yeah,
and so
exactly.
do we for good reason. But I think we should wait for him to, if he chooses to speak on it. Like at first, my instinct was also okay. He's got something, and let's look at it. But now I did spend the day looking at everything, and from what I could see, like the opening explanation, the one Laurent gave, made perfect sense. The games are good, not outrageous, and there's plenty of
but that wouldn't be
non-computer mistakes in them. So there's not enough.
I'm talking for myself, but
that
wouldn't be the first time that I spend days thinking about something, and then Magnus comes up with the answer in 10 seconds. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, like
only use our tiny brains.
So that's why I'm so I'm being, very careful because I know how. I mean, like sometimes he's thinking about stuff and you cannot even guess. And okay, I think he's really a very, very clever guy. So
no, there's no denying he's much smarter
than exactly. Us. Let's face it. So we tend to trust him. I mean, and to trust what he's doing actually. So in the games or in the matches, or I mean, we tend to think that he knows what he's doing, and so far.
But also his opinion. If you listen to his interviews, he very often has an angle that's very, very logical, but that I just hadn't considered at all. So there's the Magnus factor. As said, from what I've seen, there's not enough. There were like what was weird, but it has nothing to do with this. After the Ali Reza game, the next day, Niemann made a draw against Ali Reza. It was a very strange game. And Laurent, you mentioned the interview with Alejandro there. First of all, must have been a weird situation for everybody involved.
No, but I mean,
I would guess.
Yeah,
people knew the rumors out there, and the interview.
I mean, I was listening to the other podcast. I'm really sorry, Jan. I know you are commentating with Rustam, and I was listening to that the other days, and it was very, very nice. And but that day, I really wanted to see the press conference and what they were saying on site. And Peter Zvidler and Yasser Serwan, they were saying very incredibly neutral, like, okay, this is not good. What is going on, and so on. But while Ramirez, it was very clear. He made it very clear. I mean, like he was asking questions like. It was clear, like a guy who would go to the police station. I mean, like Hans would enter the police station, and some Alejandro was waiting there with the computer evaluation. Computer moves off, and you start asking questions. So, what was your plan after Queen G3? D takes C4, and
I would watch that like a buddy cop comedy. Detectives Caruana and Ramirez. On the case.
Yeah, that was Detective Ramirez. Like, okay, I go Queen E7, so he was trying to play one-on-one against Niemann, and well, he was not doing bad, actually. So that was it was confusing, but... No,
that was strange. Like, he sacrificed this piece here, like Queen G3, DC4, Bishop H6, G6, and then, but I couldn't read Hans before, like we've talked about from the interviews. If he's just trolling.
No, but he's clearly, I mean,
said, okay, F4, and the position should be winning. Look at my pieces, they're well placed.
So I will tell my stories that I was saying offline and was not very interesting with you. So I met Hans actually in Paris like a few months ago. He was playing Yeah, very suspicious.
That is very suspicious.
Yeah. So MVL was playing a blitz match with him. It was very close, and MVL won in Armageddon. It was in a bar where you guys, I brought you there, this chess bar in Paris. And then he was hanging out with Jules Moussa, my big friend, who called me and said, there is Hans. So I was curious to meet the guy because it was the first time I would meet him. And it's a strange experience to go and meet some guy for the first time who is higher rated than you. I mean, for me, that was the first time. That's why I told him. that was the first time. Okay. No, that I would meet him for the first time, and the guy is already higher rated than me. I mean, for the last 20 years.
But you go to the Chess Olympiad, like you've met, I don't know, Abdus
now it's normal, but it used to be.
Sindarov,
but it used to be like not normal at all. I mean, you would see the kids. So, I went to the other bar with Jules and Hans, and it was clear that he was a clearly overconfident guy. We played some blitz even. I played a couple of blitz with him, and then he played with Jules. So I can tell you that he would kick, our ass in blitz without any problems. That's for sure. He played some games with Jules. It was Jules is almost 2700 now, so it was interesting games. But but he was clearly he was super, super confident. I mean, something completely crazy. So, I saw in some cases, but, maybe one of another American guy, we had in some training camps.
Whoa, don't bring my boy Wesley into this.
Another American guy. For me, he was very similar to him. Okay. I think you got the private joke, but some people will find out. Sure.
But Laurent, just a few questions. During this encounter with Niemann, did you have your computer with you? Did you see Hans inserting any USB sticks or connecting his phone to your computer?
I was having my glass of wine. He was having his food, and then he was friendly actually. I mean, he was kind of very talking only about chess, saying that he spent his day in Paris. He was asked, which hotel are you? I mean, it was somewhere in the center. I was shocked that he told me he stayed inside his hotel the whole day to work on chess, which was a bit weird for an 18 years old boy who is for the first time in Paris. But whatever.
To Eiffel?
No, he didn't go to any sightseeing, and he said, I'm happy I work on chess today. Okay, good for you. And then he said, let's play some blitz games. Yeah, sure. And then he played with Jules, and okay. He was, of course, thinking that he's the next world champion. But, nothing wrong. And I was surprised, actually, by his level in these blitz games. So he was clearly, he's not a padzer. That's for sure.
So Laurent vouches for him because Laurent lost the blitz game in the bar.
No, I mean, I'm just saying that Nakamura points say that he's not 2700 and what he's trying to sell. It's not correct. It's simply not correct. I mean, I can guarantee that. I was 2700 for some years and not even more. I mean, I have better. I mean, I can see if a player is not. I mean.
Did you have any outstanding successes during that 2700 period?
I can say that Peter is barely made it. This 27.
I was there for two weeks. Yes.
2 weeks, yeah. So that was my. No, just to say that Naka is trying to sell some stories which are not true, and he probably knows about it, that he's saying some bullshit. But yeah, okay, that's how it works, I guess.
Now, of course, Hans won a lot of rating quickly, but this is not a Rousey situation where, okay, we didn't have proof, but everybody thought, okay, this is just not happening. For a kid who plays a lot, and works a lot to increase the level like that, of course, it's unusual, but it's not like we think, okay.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to Magnus' explanations if they come, or maybe someone who is close to him and would be at the same place at the same time with him. I don't know. Who can we pick up? But let's find some guy.
Peter, what can you tell us? What's going on there in St. Louis?
I'm going home. I mean, today, I only have a plane tomorrow, so I'm planning to go and, have breakfast here with Magnus in an hour, and then if he's going home, I'll go touristing. I'm going to go to the Busch Stadium, watch the Baseball Hall of Fame there about the Cardinals, then maybe see a game together with the baseball game together with Switzerland in the evening. Tourist a bit in St. Louis, maybe going up to the Arch and see that. Then I'm going home.
Some
anything else you would like?
Some golf? You will play golf?
No, that's really what we cared about. How
you will go to the zoo in St. Louis?
No, we passed by it yesterday on our way to our evening meal. But no, I mean, well, yeah, it's the trip is cut a bit short, so I mean, I'll miss out on some of the usual things. But yeah, no, it's a strange situation having me here, obviously. So I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't say much generally, but I mean, this time I'm saying even less. But well, it becomes a mini holiday here. But as I said, and I will keep repeating, I think. Well, Magnus should speak for himself, and until he does that, it's my role to.
Okay, I found a way to.
We should also mention we're not speaking
of course not.
for Magnus. We're just speaking
and
for ourselves here,
just I know I found a way to make Peter speak. This is very easy. Did you see that Sutovsky?
Wow.
Sutovsky tweeted about it. What do you think about the general director of FIDE taking position on such on a private tournament which involves a Russian player? Please tell us.
Yeah. No, I think on a general level, of course. I mean, even that we have discussions like this shows that the FIDE has not been doing its job properly. Right?
Okay.
I mean.
No, but this I actually agree with you that this 15 minutes.
Thanks.
Is very easy to implement, and why not?
Yeah.
It makes it more difficult, no?
Like,
if you have someone, sending the moves, it makes it just much more difficult. You need to be on your own, and you need to have someone in the playing hall.
These things always becomes a technology battle. Who has the best technology, right? Yeah. I mean, well, maybe you can have a camera in your nose. I don't.
Yeah, but then it had some problem. So it's never possible to.
I agree. No, I agree. We can take all kind of measures, but it always becomes an arms race. Who has the best technology?
Yeah.
Right?
But I also wonder, 15 minutes. If you don't need it for every move, it's not that much, right? Like, of course, you want the live broadcast to be close, but it feels like a half measure, but I haven't really thought about it.
No, I mean, well, it is something. Well, of course, I mean, postponing it 2 weeks would be more efficient, but that also has some pretty much the downside, right? So, I mean, there is no particularly good solution, and it always becomes an arms race in this situation, right? Well, I mean, 15 minutes might, for instance, have the French cheating accident in the Olympiad, right? That might be taken care of. But
it's not the French cheating, please. It's a filler cheating. I mean, you should behave yourself. It's not. I mean, it's not called the French cheating in FIDE or any court case.
Not in France.
It's the Feller Ochar Marzolo case. Okay, please. So just
the French team captain, right?
Yeah, it's French team captain. Yeah, good. Please do it that way.
I think also, well, something from the Nakamura interview you let out. I mean, one of Naka's accusations, right?
What?
Maybe you didn't. Well,
I know what you're saying. I didn't have time to look it up. The online stuff.
He was banned twice from chess.com. Actually, Niemann. But
that's what Nakamura said.
Yeah, it said, and I saw some clip, but it was very confusing clip where he got banned while he was live on Twitch, and apparently not. Shooting at that very precise moment. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I'm just quoting Nakamura.
No, this is another topic that's not talked about much. But Grandmasters being banned from online blitz, I think, is incredibly common. Just the sites, at least chess.com, they have a policy not to publish it. No, but you would not believe how many very, very strong Grandmasters that we all just admired at the Olympiad and other events have been banned for online cheating. Like it's quite shocking actually, and I don't wanna diminish it. It's of course a horrible, horrible thing to do. But the numbers always just shock me when you hear that.
I didn't know about the numbers. I can make my general point about transparency, of course, that, well, if someone is sentenced, you can argue, shouldn't it be public? But of course, it depends on which grounds they're sentenced. I mean, for instance, in cycling, they took people out if their blood values was too high. And I don't know how these things are done statistically online.
Also, Peter, today, where you're not telling us a single thing from what's happening in St. Louis, is it a good day to make your case for transparency?
I think so, because transparency is something you expect of public democratic organizations, of companies who are at a certain thing. I mean, Magnus is an individual who has hired. I mean, Magnus has a right to privacy. I mean, transparency is something you talk about not for individuals. You talk about it for democratic institutions, I would say. So yes, I think that's kind of reasonable.
So you're not hired by a company?
I am, but it's a one-person company. I mean, it's not a publicly. No.
How can you be hired by one person?
Yeah, but it's not.
Okay, no, I'll stop and argue.
It's not a publicly listed company. It doesn't have any shareholders like this. I mean, that is actually kind of different, in my opinion. It's not. I mean, well, transparency doesn't mean I can just ask Laurent about his love life or something like this and expect him to answer at least in a legal.
How's Tinder?
I'm not. You can ask. I'm not using Tinder anymore. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
But then, according to your definition, you could ask Laurent about details from the Play Magnus group because they are publicly listed and he's supposed to answer?
No, I disagree. I mean, there is these things you can actually find out. I mean, you have a way to do it. A private person has certain rights as well. I think mainly it's transparency. We talk about, that's governments or companies like, not companies, but institutions like FIDE. I mean, there is quite a difference there. I think Magnus has a right to do so, but of course he has to, if he does something that has legal implications, he will have to, deal with those like anyone else, of course.
Yeah. We knew this was happening. We knew before.
Yeah.
It's giving you a hard time about transparency.
I'm very happy to answer because I think it's a very relevant point. I mean, I'm very strong on transparency.
Can you tell us if it's? You cannot tell us if Magnus is planning to give more details. I mean, I'm not telling you I'm not asking you the answer, or if it decided. Is it decided that if he gives more or not?
I don't know. I mean, again, okay. Well, it's a bit puzzling to me. I mean, you have also been part of the team. I mean, I'm on a need-to-know basis, and I don't need to know that much, right? So, I mean, there is a limit to that. I don't know. Is the honest answer? I mean. Well, the same with is he going to play the World Championship match or not? I had a pretty good idea of it.
Yeah.
But, I'm still also checking the press releases. Can
you just leave your mic on when we go to breakfast with Magnus, or is that asking for too much?
You could, but that would be both a breach of contract and friendship, so ideally not. But I understand, but I don't think, he plays chess better than me. He also says things better than me. So if he wants to speak,
I agree.
He should be allowed to speak. Unfortunately,
I don't think he would feel he's no longer allowed to speak if you.
I understand, but also I think that he would rather speak on his own. If I said, well, again, what do you want? But again, the problem is, what do you want me to say?
No, it's okay.
I mean, I know. No,
well,
you're not overly interested in my opinion.
So I'm asking,
very
because I know the upcoming games of Niemann will be watch more than anything else by everyone. So it's too much pressure for Niemann.
Which also, by the way, makes it impossible no matter what happened. But I remember in this European Championship where Feller was playing, we're assuming he didn't cheat there, but no one could play against him at all. No one wanted to play against him. People were checking the pairings. Once this.
No, but I like
there, true or not, it's completely impossible.
Actually, I like the Gitschuk approach on that. He was playing Feller in World Cup. I asked him, is it okay to, it was after the scandal because he was not banned yet. Is it okay to play with him? He said, yes, sure. I mean, if I play against the computer anyway, I'm losing. So I'm just behaving, I'm playing against a human. And that's about it. I focus on my moves. And, Well, if it's a computer, then I'm screwed. Either way, I mean, so I just play my games like I'm playing a human, and then we'll see. I mean, I actually loved it. I mean, I thought it was incredibly clever.
That's what we did in the World Championship match when Vichy played against Topalov. There was also rumors at that point, and well, it was clearly clear. We thought that if he's cheating, it's not that difficult. We're going to lose.
Yeah,
and we try to optimize the chances. If not. I mean, well, for instance, with the fella, or sort of as we call it, the French cheating scandal at the Olympia, I didn't think that fella was cheating, for instance. I analyzed his games. I thought they were not that suspicious. I wrote a chess column that it was probably unlikely. I don't have a good track record of.
Me too.
I mean, I trust people. I'm I'm a trusting guy. So for me,
that's also what annoys me about Zero story, because I'm very bad at that actually, at feeling, and okay, I'm especially bad because some guy was cheating next to me during 2 weeks, and I couldn't see anything. And when the captain said maybe we should bench him tomorrow, I said, okay, are you nuts? I mean, he's the only guy winning games in this team, so please, he should play. So I didn't really, I mean, like, I heard about it the first time 1 month after the Olympiad. I mean, that was crazy. So I'm like Peter, actually, we are very, very naive, guys. Probably.
No, but it's a horrible situation. I mean,
of course.
Either outcome is extremely unsatisfactory.
Yeah.
If you're that, right? So I don't have any good advice here.
But we'll check. I mean, we'll see.
Had I been in the FIDE leadership, it would be different.
I mean, for a normal guy, I mean, like either way, actually, for Hans, if he cheated or not, I mean, it's just impossible to play now. I mean, I wouldn't be able to play. I mean, even this.
But it's also impossible to play against him, like in general, the whole tournament is just... Yeah,
no, I was also with Jan in this European Championship, but there was this fellow stories, and I didn't believe it much. And but I remember that like 10 people were, discussing in a group. They were signing letters. I think Pajo Vallejo was the most convinced, for instance.
Yeah, because he was playing against him the next day. That was the main reason.
This. And he had a rest day.
I remember Danilov saying, no, it looks like, well, Danilov was the president of UN Chess Federation. He was saying, to me, it looks like a hardworking, talented guy. And, well, there was also the case at the Women's European with, I think, Sandu, right, where they were gathering signatures and such. It's damning, and it's basically, it's something that we try to avoid. I mean, to stay out of, I mean, it's not good.
No, it's very bad. It's very bad for chess, yeah. No, I mean...
Yeah.
No, but the problem is, we've given our opinion on this one from what I could see, but just online, there wasn't a lot of evidence it didn't look like. But the problem is there's no good solution, no? Like, you can't accuse someone of cheating, but we also can't ignore
I'm not accusing
cheating. We think it's there,
that.
So
I'm referring to what you guys are saying.
No, I'm saying in general, if you think someone's cheating, there's no good answer, right? There's hardly ever hard proof, so you can ignore it and sort of, let this cancer destroy the chessboard slowly. Or you can...
You saw how cycling suffered from doping, for instance.
Yeah.
It becomes an impossible situation, and there is distrust.
I really do hope we have some more
online chess, like I said,
we have some more insights. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for, actually.
It's a developing story. We're recording this on Tuesday morning, and
Tuesday morning. It's 3 p.m.
We might do.
Jan.
For Peter,
No, you looked at the time on your screen. It was very clear, and you said, Tuesday morning, yeah. So why are you showing 3:20?
Tuesday morning sandwich.
I remember this from my youth, that Jan was in Germany, and I was with Vichy for the World Championship in Argentina. And I was still getting up earlier than Jan, despite I think there was an 8-hour time difference. Right? So,
times have changed. Have changed. I woke up at 6:30 this morning. Got my kids to school and kindergarten.
And then you slept after, yeah?
Sad.
We're not talking about the 8-hour nap after that.
I know. I do the same, so it's fine.
Speaking of getting my kids, I have to pick my son up
Okay.
from kindergarten in
So we don't do the
5 minutes. So
yeah.
I should get going. Chicken of the week. Plenty
Yeah,
of
of
chickens
course.
out there.
Are we actually skipping the feeder segment?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean,
You guys can do it.
no, we don't do
don't
the
know.
feeder segment. Chicken of the week, of
I was
course.
expecting you guys to nominate me for chicken.
I know it's very easy. It will be Anish because he didn't give his opinion. Of course, I mean, like he didn't say a word since yesterday.
Of course.
He chickened out, as always.
He didn't tweet some
No,
eyeballs
he
or something?
tweeted
Like-
that
He must have
withdrawal joke. So that he's making.
Yeah, but he doesn't say anything. At least
Draw jokes,
Nakamura and yeah, I'm not commenting on the drama because I have had enough with those jokes. Wow, that's
I think I understand people for not talking. I mean, it's,
do better, Anish. Yeah, so he's a chicken
no,
of
it's
the week.
only like, I mean, it's people wanting to have content or listenership. Right? You see Nakamura and the two of you, right? You talk to some extent, but the rest stay silent.
But it's the most important topic there is in chess, not just now, but also in general. I think we've mentioned plenty that it's a very, very delicate topic to debate. But
Okay, well,
yeah, sorry for talking about it.
that's the purpose of the podcast to talk about
If
things.
you could stop being relevant and just to be semi-funny, that would be nice. But yeah.
Wow, I think we stopped being relevant.
So, who is your chicken of the week, Peter?
Very quickly.
It's yourself? No, because you have to.
Yeah, I think. No, it's my job and also my personal relations. But we can also take gear if you want.
No, I don't want anything.
I'm pretty happy with myself.
Okay.
Oh, not in general, but from nomination.
Okay, I'll take Peter because he's suggesting himself and for transparency reasons. And I'm off to the kindergarten.
Yeah.
It's been a great pleasure. We might have to do an emergency episode if this story keeps developing.
Yeah,
Good to see you
nice.
guys.
As always.
Likewise.
Bye.
Soon.
Bye bye.